So we have Lori Davison, VP of Brand Strategy and Communications from Sick Kids, and Carlos Moreno, Global Chief Creative Officer at Cossette, talking about the power of storytelling and using the case study of the Versus campaign from Sick Kids to talk about how especially we as product designers, product design is becoming a lot more, I don't want to say mechanical, but it's at some points it's becoming very directional. And so you tend to see a lot of apps having the exact same flows, or even our mindsets are always focused on how the conversion would work and how all those things would work. And we tend to forget the storytelling part. And that was one of the main reasons that we invited Lori and Carlos to educate us and take us out of our little box sometimes that we get into and talk about storytelling. So big round of applause for Lori and Carlos.
Right. This is great. What a great gathering. I just personally am quite impressed with this.
Hello?
There we go.
Yeah,
you're there.
Good.
I hear you. Okay.
Now, before you start, I just want to say to Preet, thank you so much for having us. And really, this is amazing. This is such like I'm sitting there listening to the first talk, and it's just like brain juice for me. Like it's just all coming in. It's all new, and I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, fun. So the story, this is about storytelling, and the story that we're going to try and tell you guys in 15 minutes or less is the story of Sick Kids versus apathy. So that's how we think about the job that we have to do at Sick Kids Foundation, which is about overcoming apathy. Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, when it comes to charitable giving, the easiest thing for you to do is nothing. So we're up against that kind of inertia, and that's the job, is to pull people out of that doing nothingness and make them want to act. So I'm going to just start by telling you a bit about Sick Kids, things that you may or may not already know. So Sick Kids Hospital has been around since 1875. It was founded by a woman named Elizabeth McMaster, who was a nurse, and she founded on the principle, which was a very new thought to the world at the time, which is that kids are not just mini adults, that they need to be cared for differently. Not only like physically, which is true, biologically they're different, but also for a child to heal, they need all kinds of other things that we don't think about or need necessarily as adults. And so that sort of giving spirit has been part of the hospital since day one. Sick Kids is one of the top 3 children's hospitals in the world as a research institute and a training institute for pediatric physicians, not only in Canada. 90% of pediatric physicians in Canada are trained at Sick Kids, but also we train physicians all over the world at Sick Kids. We have about 100,000 patient visits annually. There's 2,000 researchers at the hospital and 9,000 other staff. The foundation raises $140 million a year. The operating budget of the hospital is around $700 million. So that's a quite significant proportion of the operating budget of the hospital. It comes from philanthropy. And Sick Kids itself is a very strong brand, high awareness and positive equity across the country. So philanthropy is what Sick Kids Foundation is all about. And when living in a country that thankfully has universal health care, people often, their first question is, why am I donating to a hospital? Isn't that what OPIP is there for? And it is. Most of your care and access to care is paid through your taxes, essentially. But what philanthropy does at Sick Kids is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. So Sick Kids is not only a hospital that cares for kids, but Sick Kids is a world-leading research institution that is solving some of the biggest problems in not only child health, but health in general. I always ask this question, but how many people here have a nut allergy? This is mostly a generation that there's a prolific number of food allergies. Who has a food allergy outside of an allergy? So Sick Kids will cure food allergy within the next 10 years. That is a mission that we're on, and we are going to cure it. The survival rate for childhood leukemia the year that I was born was 10%. That number is now 90%. 90% survival rate. That's the kind of research and work that's being done at Sick Kids Hospital in your city, right here and right now. And that funding doesn't come from government. That doesn't come from taxes. It doesn't come from OHIP. That comes from philanthropy. So that's the magnitude of impact that philanthropy at Sick Kids has. And that's the mission that we're on. So at the core of our efforts to raise money at Sick Kids is the brand. The brand is what we leverage in order to invite people in to care and to want to open their hearts and their wallets to us. And the brand for us is a powerful vehicle because fundraising at the end of the day is storytelling. And we need the brand in order to help us tell that story and engage people. It also, the brand lends credibility for us. It opens doors. When we talk to you as Sick Kids, you're more willing to hear what we have to say because you know us and you already have associations with us. It's a point pride for our donors. People want to be connected with a winner, and we invest in the brand to help build that credibility for ourselves. And it attracts talent. So not only are we able to hire people from the private sector who are really good at what they do, I have designers on my team that I brought over from the agency side who are top tier A-grade designers who want to work with us because they want to be associated with the brand. The reason that we're able to get Cossette to, on a pro bono basis, invest all kinds of energy and resources with us is because they want to be associated with this brand. So it's really important to us to build that story out, to build our brand story, and use it to leverage the hearts and minds, basically, of Torontonians. So we need a brand story. What is the Sick Kids brand story?
Yeah, so we've been working with Lori for now for 2.5 years, and one of the first things that we had to do was not only do we start designing the brand from a strategic point of view, but also really start to think what that next 5-year journey at least was going to be for the brand in terms of what the story is going to be. So the first thing that we always talk about is this story of Sick Kids versus the greatest challenges in child health. That is at the top of the house in terms of what our overall brand is going to be about, what that story that we're going to be telling is. And the outcome of the story, what we want people to feel is this: we are winning, but we won't stop until every kid is a healthy kid. Like, that is the outcome that we want, that every part of the brand that we touch, every story that we tell, every poster that we design, every website that we touch that belongs to Sick Kids Foundation is adding to that story. Not one thing is designed to tell the entire book, but it's just looking at every touch point that consumers have in terms of how we work with them to be able to deliver the entire story that we're trying to tell on their behalf.
So we're going to share just a video with you that kind of captures the story of our shift to the Versus platform that Cossette introduced, and why we did that and how it's performed for us.
Campaign that's being called the biggest and the Sick Kids Versus campaign. For sick children, stopping ad campaign was bold and showing a different side of sick kids.
Last time I freaked out, and even I says I'm on a fence, shorty trying to set a race, but how I'm gonna get hot when I don't even got brakes? You don't gotta lose a top, you don't even got
Definitely not for the faint of heart.
Sick Kids, the Versus campaign has been huge and I think amazing. Be undeniable. Be undeniable.
So that's the music is supposed to rock the room. Inspire. I think you're all visual people. You're enjoying it anyway.
You look different.
It looked, yeah. I know Elaine's doing her best over there. We've got audio problems. Okay, so storytelling. Storytelling is the core of what we do, and try to, like, as I said, engage you, bring you in, make you want to give. But it's not just any old storytelling; it has to be great storytelling. And so there are some tenets to that we adhere to.
And when I start thinking about how this whole project evolved, having a powerful insight is so important, guys. Like, I mean, whether you're working on design, anything that you are going to be involving human touch and human interaction, you need to have that human insight, that thing that kind of connects, whether it's an advertising campaign, whether it's a design program, you need that massive insight in terms of how you're going to be connecting with people and making that experience a lot better. A strong point of view, like sometimes I think about this stuff and it just seems so simple that we don't really acknowledge it, but if anything that we love as human beings has that strong point of view, whether it's a film, a song, a design, a piece of art that we all love, it has that point of view that just kind of connects with people. Whether we like it or not, it has something to say. Lori was joking around yesterday about Donald Trump. Whether you like it or not, he has a point of view. And you are going to listen because...
Like
I know you don't like it. No. But he does have a point of view. And I think, like when we start talking about communication of any kind, of anything that we are trying to involve more people to get engaged with, you've got to have a point of view in terms of how you're bringing that story to life. Authenticity is another thing that we really talk about quite a bit in terms of being true to what you're working on. In our case, everything that we've done for the brand so far is purely authentic in terms of how we brought it to life. We talk a lot about performance brands out there like Nike and Adidas. They always have this thing where, they don't make stuff up. They use real athletes and their stories to tell their brand. And we've done the same thing. All the kids that you see in everything that we talk about, in every piece of communication, are real kids that are going through a journey of themselves and their condition and with their families. And lastly, it has to be flawlessly executed. Again, every great story has those wonderful touches of insight and drama that just connect with people. And when I think about design that I love from just a pure aesthetics point of view, it has to have that. You've got to be flawless in your execution because that's what's going to make it amazing. That's what's going to differentiate you from everyone else to you being at the core of being awesome at what you do, and that's what you want. You don't want to be mediocre.
So we're going to close with, we've got 3 videos we want to share with you that we think and hope live up to those guiding principles. I think they're going to be a little quiet, but tune in and hope you enjoy.
Started out with a handy and then the push came. Last
last time I freaked out and ain't been high since. I'm on the fence, shorty tryna send a rinse, but how I'm gon' get caught when I don't even got brakes? You don't gotta lose a top, you don't even got hits. I'm praying that this baby bus driver don't glimpse I'm rolling. You would think my whip was stolen. In my past life, I hit up all that in your pool, and I'm soaring like I hit a beat high with a Boeing 737 with my arms to the heavens like drop zone to the block's gone. Can't you tell we ran up out of options? This ain't a choir group, tell the entire truth and let us set you free. We undeniable. We undeniable. We undeniable. We undeniable. This ain't a choir group, tell the entire truth and let us set you free. We undeniable. We undeniable. Tell the entire truth and let us set you free. We undeniable. We undeniable.
Just attach it here.
I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything for you, mean everything to me. I know that I'd risk everything for one kiss. Everything, yes, I'd do anything. Anything? Anything for you.
A little girl at the end, Rick, that's Marlo. She's terminal. And we need to build a new sick kids. Please fund that.
One of the things that allow us to do things like this, in our case, is this concept of having a really powerful brand idea and to not be afraid of creativity. We live in an age where this is becoming more commoditized on a daily basis. You kind of talked about that quite a bit. I'm lucky to work with Lori where she allows us to stretch the creative muscle. But that is the difference maker. It is the last differentiating factor that all of us have in terms of making things that matter and making things that stand out. Please don't shy away from creativity. Thank you.